All right, time to go teach. Hello and welcome to this episode of Tutors, where we are continuing our unit on ecology, and today we are looking at nutrient cycles, part 1, because this is a multi-part series where we are going to be looking at a few different nutrient cycles. Targets of the day. One is that we are going to introduce biogeochemical cycles. We are going to look a little bit at what they are, and we are going to introduce the different ones that we are going to go over in the next few units, and then we are going to go over the water cycle. We are looking at the overall steps that will take place in the water cycle today. So first off, biogeochemical cycles that we're going to be talking about throughout the next few lessons. It's the water cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, and the phosphorus cycle. So let's get started with the first one, the water cycle. That is where we are at today. Starting off, well, if we look at the Earth, and we see this, and we have the ocean, and well, many of you are very well aware that water will evaporate, and it will go into the atmosphere, and then it will condense, and that is how we have clouds. Clouds are actually a condensation of our water. It is not that they are in a gassy stage. Clouds are actually liquid water, very small droplets that are suspended up in the air until they happen to get to a large enough amount where they will grow into a large enough size, and then we will get to the next stage, which is precipitation. So we have evaporation, condensation, and then precipitation as the water falls back down to the earth. And from that, it is going to then go in a few different directions. We have runoff, which is where the water will actually flow along the surface of the land until it goes into a stream or a river, or it could actually undergo what's referred to as percolation, where the water will actually soak into the soil and then go into what is referred to as an aquifer, which is a reservoir of water in the soil. This is where wells get their water from. And then that water is going to be able to be taken up by some plants from their roots. We're going through this process called transpiration, which is the water evaporating from the leaves of those plants. That is also what pulls the water from the roots all the way to the tops of the trees, that process called transpiration. It works through this property that we call capillary action, where the water is both going to adhere to the sides of the plant and cohere to the other water molecules. So the water will actually pull itself up through the plant, and by transpiration, that will continuously pull water upward and upward through the plant. And this is how a plant will actually get its water from its roots all the way to its leaves. Also, we happen to have, from animals, we have the process of respiration, where through that process of respiration, remember, water is a product of that, and that will be exhaled by the animals, and it will again go into the atmosphere, and over time it will condense into the clouds, and then it will then continuously precipitate down, and we will then go through this cycle over and over and over again. One thing to recognize with this cycle is that even if we took animals out, and even if we took plants out, this process would still continuously occur. We would still have evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and it would continuously go in its cycle. The water cycle does not require life. It doesn't require living things. Water can go through its cycle completely abiotically. All right? So, in summary, nutrients, they're going to cycle through our biosphere, and water has this very specific cycle where it has an atmospheric phase where it will condense, and then it will undergo precipitation to come back down to the surface of the earth and then go back up through evaporation. And that process goes on and on and on, and it does not require organisms to be involved in that cycle. But organisms can be involved, where plants are going to undergo the process of transpiration and animals do respiration. And so that is going to be the summary for our water cycle. So until next time, be awesome, stay awesome.